All right, question number 3. I'm going to be starting here with Mr. Fannin. This question was submitted with research assistance from the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. Now, tourism is a vital part of Niagara's economy. Niagara has been known across the world as the top tourist destination, and tourism employs more than 33,000 residents in this region. Yet in the recent years, Niagara's tourism industry has lost ground to more aggressive nations. Additionally, the federal support of the tourism industry has significantly declined in recent years. Now, with over 12 million visitors to Niagara, what are your plans to strengthen the tourism industry?
Well, I've always said outside marketing is huge, and we've seen Ontario do a pretty good job of that. Canada fell off the face of the earth as far as marketing outside of our country. What a great province and cities that we have. Quality of life keeps your attention here too, so I mean, everything goes back to that for me. We need to take advantage at this point in time when our dollar is the way it is to do some additional marketing when the dollar is high, because we saw the effect on the dollar when our dollar was high against the greenback, that tourism dropped off. So while it's favorable for us, I think this is a great time to invest in promoting our country and specifically our area in Niagara here. I go back to transit, infrastructure spending. If we're going to bring people in, let's be able to move them around efficiently as well. And I think that's a good start anyway.
Yeah. I think Canada's got to get a lot more friendlier to people coming in as tourists. I just read a story today about how in Hungary there's Canadian officials pulling people out of lines from airline lines coming here saying, "Are you Roma or Gypsy?" and pulling them off the plane without any justification or even saying who they are. So I think this kind of hostile atmosphere that Canada has, the reputation Canada's getting, and the hostility that we're showing towards people from other countries, I think that's also a barrier to tourism. I also think we need to improve the quality of life in general here. When people come here, they see Clifton Hill, but they also see what's outside Clifton Hill. And one of the proposals we have is to actually make the minimum wage a wage that is actually livable, which we've calculated is actually $20 an hour. And if you think that's too much, try living on something less. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We've committed to continuing with aggressive promotion of Canada's tourism. We are a bright spot, and you look around Niagara, and we are a shining example, and we have to attract more people. But what this government's failed to do is work with the provinces. It can't be a one-size-fits-all solution for every province, every jurisdiction. We will meet with the premiers. We will require the Prime Minister to meet with the premiers on an annual basis, and this has to be one of the issues that is discussed. On top of that, we also have to invest in infrastructure. I keep hitting on this, but we've committed $20 billion over the next 10 years to invest in public transit infrastructure. People flying into Toronto, they're not necessarily going to rent a car and drive down to Niagara Falls. How do we get them here? How do we get them to the gems that are Niagara Falls, Niagara-on-the-Lake, and hopefully, maybe someday in the future, Port Dalhousie again?
Thank you. Mr. Dykstra.
Thank you. One of the pieces in all of this is the accessibility that individuals from around the world have to be able to travel to Canada much easier. And we've invested heavily in the electronic travel technology, so it's much easier for people to get a stamp of approval to travel to Canada if they require a visa, and also it's expedited if a visa is not required. We've also put together a strategy called Connecting America, in which we are trying, through an investment of $30 million over the next 2 years, re-engage with both of our partners, both Mexico and heavily the United States, to ensure that they have the opportunity to get here and understand what it's all about. And one of the 5 pieces of that component in terms of geography is the Niagara region plays a critical role in all of that. And I also believe that St. Catharines is a tourism destination site, and we have been able to make those investments necessary to build on it. And I believe Port Dalhousie will be the next step in that aspect of bringing tourism to St. Catharines.
Thank you so much.
Tourism tourism plays a critical role here in Niagara. We have many beautiful places for people to see. What we have to realize too is that tourism also employs probably one of the biggest parts of our sector here in Niagara. And these people are making very, very minimal wages. For tourism to succeed, we're going to need to have workers who are able to live where they work, able to afford to live where they work. So offering a small business a 2% decrease in their income taxes and their taxes for small businesses, I think that'll be a significant thing to help. Encouraging, even though it's a federal thing for federal workers to get a $15 an hour wage, encouraging that to work with the provinces to increase those wages so that the people who are working in the tourism industry can afford to be proud of where they're staying and where they're working. Tourism is very, very vital to where we are, and everyone's going to talk about Port Dalhousie, but if we're going to encourage tourism to Port Dalhousie, we better own it and not sell it off. Thank you.